Hey everyone, ShadowDTV here. Today we're going to be checking out, not really a deck profile today, but instead we're going to be discussing, I guess, some game mechanics and theories. So today I'm going to be talking about the curve system. So if you've played other trading card games or digital card games, there's a thing that we call on curve. So for instance, this sort of applies to games like Magic the Gathering, Hearthstone, anything where there's, I guess, a mana system or a cost system for the cards. Of course, in Marvel Snap, we get energy each turn, and that determines what cards we can actually play. So I'm going to use a couple of decks as examples. But for instance, turn 1, if you have a 1-cost card in your hand, you can play it. If you don't, you play nothing that turn. So generally, in other games, you want to, I guess, be able to play cards every single turn. It makes sense. The more cards you play, generally, the more chance you have of winning. But in Marvel Snap, it differs a little bit in that the only turns that are really super important is, I guess, the last turn of the game. Of course, the other turns are important for getting you to that victory on turn 6, possibly turn 7 if someone plays Magic, but it's all about that final turn. That's when you're doing the math, you're adding everything up, deciding if you're going to win or lose the game. So essentially, it isn't as important to play cards on turn 1, turn 2, as long as the end result is a winning board state. A great example of this is like a Mr. Negative deck. Lately, people have been absolutely groaning about how annoying Mr. Negative is, but it is a very interesting deck in that you can go turn 1, turn 2, turn 3 with playing no cards, and then Mr. Negative just enables your deck to all of a sudden swarm the board with really powerful cards. And there's a lot of decks that, I guess, run with this sort of system. I think of like a discard deck. Generally, you'll have like a 1-cost card like Blade in your hand. But if there's nothing that you would like to discard in your hand, you might hold off playing that turn 1. And it's a mistake I see a lot of new players make where they just play, okay, I've got a 1-cost card, I play it on turn 1. But if Blade is discarding a powerful card like Lady Sif or something that we want to play on a later turn, it can really hurt, I guess, our final board state. So for instance, something like Blade, I might hold till turn 3 when I draw Apocalypse, and then I'll play Lady Sif and Blade just to make sure that my Blade wouldn't discard Lady Sif or, you know, discard Colleen, which maybe turn 3 I play Colleen Wing and Blade, which would discard 2 cards, but Colleen Wing will guarantee that we discard the Swarm in our hand. So it's not always ideal to play cards on curve, as we would call it. I'm going to showcase this Mr. Negative deck as a bit of an example, I guess, to show that we don't have to play cards every turn to, I guess, win. And that's a concept you have to get your head around. You don't want to just be playing cards because they're in your hand and they're playable. Sometimes you really need to think about, is this the right turn to play it, or could it harm my final board state on turn 6? So after turn 4, whoever's winning draws 2 cards, which can be good for us. We could probably play Angela here. So yes, we played Angela on turn 2, which I guess would be considered on curve because it was the right turn to play. So for an example is Mystique. Obviously playing Mystique now, it takes the ongoing of the last card we played. It would be kind of useless to play Mystique now. We get no ability and we get no power. So we'll definitely play Adam Warrior instead. And we've wasted an energy here. Of course, maximizing energy is also important. But again, there's going to be turns where it's okay to waste that energy. Mystique would have used all of it, but it in turn would have been a worse play than just playing Adam Warrior. We still don't get the extra draw here. Turn 4, we generally want to play Mr. Negative. Let's have a look. On turn 6, cards can't be played here. We probably need to put Mr. Negative here just to get some power here. Of course, we've got White Tiger, which we can play on turn 5. So we're playing fairly on curve right now. But you're going to see with Mr. Negative, it's going to allow us to play cards off curve. Well, not off curve, but cards that we would normally need 5 energy to play. Like Jubilee. We're going to be able to play Jubilee this turn and like Wong and then Jubilee, which is absolutely insane. So it's just things like this. We probably, I just realized we left the vault, but I think that's fine because we could play a White Tiger here. Well, that's actually pretty rough. That's maybe rough. Although White Tiger here is probably fine. Depends what they play, really. Cool. So we got an Ironheart. The double buff there, that's pretty insane. So we actually already are winning this location. Ooh. Deadpool goes back to hand, but they lose the right location. Is interesting. trying to think. White Tiger here, 7. Yeah, I think that's fine. And then we can play a Gambit as well to just wipe their board. Although killing Bucky Barnes would feel bad, but I feel like they're going to play a Destroyer, and possibly killing their Destroyer is pretty insane. So as you saw, on turn 5 and 6, we played a ton of cards. And I guess that's an example of not having to play on curve in this game. Turn 5 and 6 is really where we like set up our board state. I mean, we played Jubilee, we got Ironheart, Hout, we got White Tiger, we got Gambit, and we've played all of these in 2 turns. I guess we cheat energy a little bit, but it's still pretty insane. We don't actually win that middle location. Yes, we do, because we destroyed the right card. Let's go Gambit. They're going to win the oh, no, 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 no. That is freaking insane. We still win. If Death stayed, I'm so glad that it destroys the card at your location, because if it just duplicated everywhere, that would be freaking broken. So we get the win there. I guess it wasn't the perfect example of playing off curve, but like I said, we just played a ton of cards in that last turn, and that's the thing you have to get your head around with this game. It's not about, I think of a lot of games like Hearthstone and things like that. If you have a slow start, you essentially just lose the game. Whereas with this, we are pretty much, we're setting up our later turns by sometimes not playing cards. For instance, we could have played, we played Mr. Negative turn 4. There were other cards we could just get out earlier, but we're just holding them for these later turns. It's a hard concept to kind of explain. So we've explained it. I've shown a case that a little bit with the negative deck. Maybe let's play like this Dracula discard deck, which we made a video for earlier in the week. This is a pretty good example of it as well, in that there's going to be cards in our hand that we don't want to discard. And hopefully we can showcase that example as well. A lot of seasoned card game players probably have figured a lot of these things out. But if you're especially new to card games, or you've moved from... I've seen people who have played games like Magic the Gathering in the past that are trying to, I guess, take those concepts and bring them over to this game. And they're struggling a little bit because they're not really getting the whole retreat mechanic and, holding cards for later turns. So, for example, turn 1, we didn't have anything to play. We could play Colleen here, but we would just be discarding our Morbius. So, playing Morbius first and waiting to find something useful to play Colleen with. Again, with Gambit and Moon Knight, depending on what's in our hand, holding these cards could be beneficial. So, like, we've got Lady Sif here, but we really want to save this card for an Apocalypse. So, yes, we can play it now, but we probably want to hold off. Same with Colleen's going to discard stuff that we don't want to. Gambit and Moon Knight, I guess, are discarding cards as well, but they're not really helping our board state. I mean, they are. They're giving us more cards. They're giving us more power on the board, but we're not really we're not getting the benefit of their abilities yet. Again, we've got Blade, so we've just got no Swarm, no Apocalypse, which really sucks. Filling out friggin' the Triskelion really frustrates me sometimes. Turn 4, I think we just have to play discard cards now to buff Morbius. I don't think what the ideal one is. Maybe we try and fight for middle location. I got Wong on the right. So we lose Hellcow. And we're going to lose Blade. I don't think we really had a choice there based on what was in our hand. We draw Lady Sif, which also doesn't help. But I guess we can try and win these locations. I think maybe Colossus is a better play just because this is going to discard Moon Knight, which kind of sucks. Moon Knight or Gambit. Although we really want to discard, don't we? I think it's fine. So we did hold those cards hoping to play them on later turns, which we did, but they didn't exactly give us the benefit that we wanted. And Gambit's going to go insane. Really depends what we draw here. So we can win this left location. Oh, now we draw Swarm. I think we just have to go all out for this location. They snap. I don't know what they could play. Probably have like an Apocalypse or something in hand. We'll just play it out. That's not good. Giganto. Where does Giganto go? Oh no, Giganto. Oh, what? When did they discard Death? Did not see them discard death. Yeah, I didn't think we were going to win that one, unfortunately. But yeah, so on curve is, I mean, we were holding cards there because it was a bad time to play them. And that's the thing, you don't just want to go on autopilot, play my 1-drop, play my 2-drop, play my 3-drop, play my 4-drop. Of course, there are decks that run that way. They run on curve, as we would call it. But you just need to get your head around that. Not every deck plays like that. And again, it's all about that final turn. So that's when you want to evaluate your board state and I guess decide if you're going to get the win or not. Guys, I hope this gave you a little bit of insight into how the game works. Hopefully it gave you, I guess, a few little tips there, or I guess some more knowledge about the game to, I guess, win more games essentially, or even just for deck building. It really allows you to understand that you don't have to play, 2 of every cost card sort of thing. Of course, there are decks that run like that, but you can have, a limited amount of 1-drops, a limited amount of 6-drops. Even there's decks that don't even need the 6 cost cards. So yeah, hope that helped you guys out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more deck profiles, these sort of videos that are, just trying to give you some more insight into the game. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.